Hey guys, welcome back, and I know it's been a while since I've done a video. Just been pretty busy with family, work, stuff like that. But I decided to make a comeback and talk about a movie that I recently purchased and watched for the first time ever, and that is Protege, um, released in 2007, directed by Derek Yee, stars Daniel Wu, Andy Lau, Louis Koo, and Zhang Jing Chu. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Um, and I bought this because it's a Dragon Dynasty special collector's edition, and they made great releases for Hong Kong cinema. And I figured, why not, pick this up? And I'm a big fan of Daniel Wu. That's Daniel Wu right there, and Andy Lau, which is right next to him. So I figured, why not give it a shot? And this is basically a crime thriller movie, and it's very serious. Not necessarily like an action film. Like this is more of like a crime drama, serious movie. I mean, granted there is some action in here, but it's more like about like the story more than focusing on the action bits of it. And Daniel Wu and Andy Lau are very well known serious actors, and I think they do a great job in here. And the movie's basically about this guy named Nick, played by Daniel Wu, who basically works for the police, and he works as a undercover narcotics guy, and he basically is a protege for this drug ring guy, and what happens is that he works for him and everything, and he knows that a lot of things are going bad, and he is trying to infiltrate this guy, played by Andy Lau, and he basically gets stuck in a predicament to whether turn this guy in or stick with it for the money, because he likes getting the money and stuff like that. And that's basically the premise of the movie, and it's a very good one. And I really liked Daniel Wu and Andy Lau's performances in this. I feel like the two of them worked very well together. And Derek Yee, who also directed later, a couple years later, Shinjuku Incident, which I reviewed, which Daniel Wu was in that one as well. So that was the second film they did together. They might have done more than just this one in Shinjuku Incident. I'm not 100% sure, but it's cool that they got to collaborate more than once. And um, yeah, and this one is very popular in China. If you go on IMDb, it has like a 7.1 out of 10 stars on there, and as we all know, that IMDb is not always right, but in this case, they are right with this movie. And there's also I'm trying to remember the guy's name that Andy Lau plays. I'll have to look it up. Hold on one second. Um, but yeah, Andy Lau is incredible in this as like a drug dealer guy, and let's see what's his name. Uh, Lam Quan is his name. No, Quan. Lam Quan, not Lam Quan. Lam Quan. There we go. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to butcher it, but yeah. So Andy Lau is the main guy who basically is involved with like the drug business and everything, and there's also subplots that are in here, like Daniel Wu's character has a lady who's a druggie that lives nearby him, and she has a daughter, and she's still using and trying to stop, but she can't, and she's estranged from her husband, who's also like a junkie who tries to weasel his way back into her life and everything. She got rid of him because of his drug habits and everything. Which I like the fact that Daniel Wu's character Nick does care for this woman and her child. I thought that was very nice of him to show, you know, kindness of his heart and to try to help her, but there's sometimes it's, hard to help her because, like he doesn't really trust the fact that, she is still a drug addict and everything. So it's mainly about, drugs and greed and stuff like that. But there's good action in here. And the action sequences are very well done when they're there. Like I said, it doesn't really focus more on the. It doesn't focus more on the action. It's more of like the story and of like what's going on and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, this is a very nice release from Dragon Dynasty. They're all numbered, and this is number 35 on the Dragon Dynasty. Um, you know, because they did a handful of movies. They did like 62, I think, is how many they did. Yeah, and this is number 35. I have a couple of them, a couple of their releases in my room, which I've shown before in past videos. I don't have all of them yet, but I will get around to them eventually. And surprisingly, this one's actually does actually show a rating, rated R, because most of these releases will just have like a not rated on the back for some weird reason. I don't know why, but this is one of the few that actually has a rating on there, so that's interesting. And you also have some like some pretty cool features. You have like the making of the original theatrical trailer, feature commentary by Hong Kong cinema expert Bay Logan, who's a Hong Kong cinema, like aficionado. He's great, and you got Undercover and Over the Edge, an exclusive interview with leading man Daniel Wu, Chasing the Dragon, an exclusive interview with leading lady Zhang Jingchu, and also The Dealer, an exclusive interview with producer Peter Chan. And it was actually, this film was nominated for Best Action Choreography from the Hong Kong Film Awards, so that's interesting, is what it says on the back here. And I also like the back art too, and I'll show you guys the disc art, and it comes with the two tabs right there, and this is the disc. And this is one of the releases that, well, some Dragon Dynasty releases were released on Blu-ray too, not only just DVD. But this one doesn't have a Blu-ray release here in the States. There is a Blu-ray that's overseas in China. You have to import that. But I think having the DVD, for now is pretty cool. Like, who knows? I might, pick up the Blu-ray as well, but I don't know. But yeah, it goes at a pretty good pace. It doesn't feel extra long or sluggish or anything. It's almost 2 hours long. It's an hour and 48 minutes long, so almost 2 hours. So it is like a little long, but to me it didn't feel too long. For my taste. For some people it might be a little too long, but I don't think it was. And yeah, you have great actors in here. I really like the story, and like a lot of craziness happens in here. Like there's like a scene where the authorities are trying to get into this place because they know there's drugs there, and a guy, he ends up taking something and ends up knocking a guy's hand off. Like, well, first he breaks it, and then he keeps hitting it over and over again until it, comes off completely, which was pretty brutal and nasty, don't get me wrong, but that's just how it was. And there was there's scenes where they show people shooting up and stuff like that. So if you're not a fan of seeing stuff like that, or where it's very violent or about drugs, this probably isn't the type of movie for you. But if you like Hong Kong cinema, like especially movies with Andy Lau in them, like Infernal Affairs or Shinjuku Incident, like I said, or something like dramatic, a crime story, or something that's like very dramatic. This one's definitely worth looking into, and it's also available in Cantonese and in English. So there's the audio options there, which is neat. the Cantonese, I prefer watching it in. The English dubbing, I didn't actually listen to it, but it's probably not going to be as good, so I didn't even bother with it because I rarely ever watch, movies like this that have English dubbing because the English dubbing sounds, very off-putting in my opinion. Like for those who can't watch it with the subtitles, like who don't care about it. I mean, like that's fine because I know not everybody loves subtitles, but I just prefer it in its native language because just like because when it sounds weird and it's not the original people's voices, like it kind of turns me off. Like that's just how it is with me anyway. But yeah, I also think that it's a very well made movie. And for those that are, into Hong Kong cinema, you don't really hear many people talk about this. I mean, frankly, because, it's my first time seeing it, so maybe people do talk about it. I don't know, but I haven't heard really much people talk about it, really. So, I mean, I think it's one that definitely needs to be more, talked about and stuff like that. And I also think the cover art is pretty cool with him and the gun there. I think that's just neat. And um, I remember going through Amazon one time. This is before I got this. Like I saw this and I was like, "Huh, that looks interesting," because I like Daniel Wu. Like I said, he's the main lead, and he's also more into like American films now too. But this is one of the Hong Kong films he did before he became big here in America because he did Love Hurts recently as a bad guy, which was very good. We'll have to talk about that one too someday. And yeah, I feel like the movie has it shows like the drug business is not good and that the drug addiction is not good and how that you know, certain people need to be held accountable for their actions and mistakes. And so I think, as much as some of the movie is a lot of the times depressing, I do think that regardless of that it does, send good messages for people out there. And yeah, it's also kind of hard to watch when you know that there's like a parent that is a junkie and she still has the kid around. She's still doing it. She's not, thinking about the kid. She's more focusing on herself, which is too bad. A lot of people do that. It's a shame. But apparently, this is also based on a true story, which I did not expect that. So I thought that was pretty cool. And you know, is everything just as accurate as what happened in real life? I don't know. I haven't looked into that, but let me know if you guys know more about it than I do, because I'd like to know about that. And let's see, it's also in widescreen, and it looks pretty good on the TV I have in the living room here. That's a very big screen Roku TV. It looked great on there, and um, you know, and I could appreciate, Daniel Wu doing something like a little bit different, just like Shinjuku incident that he did was a little bit different than what he's mostly known as. But and Andy Lau, I mean, like this already is a movie that Andy Lau is pretty much known for. Like he's known for movies like this, so this is already his forte. But he does great nonetheless, and I really think that uh, I made a good decision to purchase this, and you can get it for pretty cheap. I got it; it wasn't that much. A lot of the Dragon Dynasty DVDs are out of print, so be aware of that. I will do at some point do a video where I show off my entire Dragon Dynasty collection. I don't have all of them yet, but when I uh, upgrade and getting more of the titles released under this company, I will show them when I have all of them at some point, which I don't know how long it's going to take, because some of them are very hard to track down than others, so, it's going to be a while, so, but for those who want me to do a video on that, I will do at some point. It's just not going to be anytime soon, because it's a lot of movies to cover, but I already have quite a few of them, but I'm not doing a video of it yet, because I feel like I don't have enough to actually make a video for it, so that's going to be a minute. But yeah, great release, great movie, lots of fun. Definitely edge of your seat, sort of moments in this movie that'll make you cringe. And yeah, it's just a fun time, I've watched it once, and I definitely want to watch it again later on down the road. And I'm glad I picked this up recently off of Amazon. So you can look it up on Amazon or eBay or whatever, and you can find it for pretty cheap, I'm sure, because this is one of the titles that actually is still in print, so you can find it pretty easily. Like I said, some titles are more harder to find than others, but this one's still in print, thankfully. Will it go out of print sometime in the future? Maybe. I don't know. But we'll see. So anyways, guys, check out Protege. Definitely check out this movie if you haven't. It's really, really good. And thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry for the long way of making a video, but, better late than never, I suppose. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.